My dear friend, there are moments in your life when God leans close, when heaven seems to whisper your name, and when something inside you senses that a shift is taking place. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but your spirit can feel it like the quiet stirring before the dawn breaks open. And today, as we begin this message together, I want you to hear this with every fiber of your being. God is announcing a new season over you. Not a season of defeat, not a season of barely surviving, a season of miracle provision, a season where the God who sees you, the God who knows your needs, the God who's walked with you through every valley now says, your time has come. If you believe in God, I now invite you to write in the comments, my soul is in the hands of God. And if this message is already speaking to your heart, I encourage you, like a gentle act of faith, to like this message, subscribe, and stay close as we walk together through what God has prepared. God declares a new season, but the question is, will you recognize it? The enemy's greatest strategy is to make you believe that what you see now is all there will ever be. He wants you to be convinced that your struggle is permanent, that your lack is unchangeable, that your prayers have hit a ceiling. But the God of Scripture has never needed visible evidence to bring His power to pass. Think about Joseph, betrayed, sold, forgotten. Yet in a single day, God lifted him from the prison to the palace. God has a pattern of acceleration. When His moment comes, nothing can delay it. Not people, not circumstance, not the enemy, not even your past. And maybe that's the quiet curiosity rising in your heart right now. Could it be that my moment is close? Could this message be the sign I've been praying for? My friend, God is the one who times seasons. He is the one who opens doors no man can shut. If He is stirring your heart today, it is not by accident. When God declares a new season, He often does it the same way Jesus spoke to the disciples, directly, clearly, and compellingly. There was a moment when Peter had fished all night and caught nothing. Exhausted, frustrated, probably thinking his efforts were wasted, but one instruction from Jesus changed everything. Cast your net on the right side. And the moment Peter obeyed, the net overflowed. Miracle provision doesn't always require more effort. Sometimes it simply requires the right direction from God. You may feel like Peter, tired, worn down, unsure. You may have tried everything you know how to do. You've stretched your finances, your strength, your strategies, but you see no harvest. Yet Jesus stands on the shores of your life today and speaks a fresh word. He says, turn your heart toward me. Trust my timing. Follow my voice. Your empty nets are not the end of your story. So let me ask you, what will you choose today? Will you stay where you are, convinced that nothing can change? Or will you say, Lord, if you are calling me into a new season, I step forward with faith? I remember meeting a man many years ago. He had lost nearly everything, his business, his savings, his sense of direction. He told me he felt like God had forgotten him. But one day he decided to pray a simple prayer. God, I don't see how things can change, but I trust you anyway. Within weeks, unexpected doors opened. A friend reconnected him to an opportunity he never saw coming. Not long after, his finances recovered, his faith deepened, and he looked back saying, God didn't just restore me, He repositioned me. That is what God does in a new season. He doesn't patch old things, He creates new paths. And maybe you've been holding on to old disappointments, old fears, old wounds. But God is not asking you to bring your past into this new season. He is asking you to bring your faith, because the season God is leading you into is one where you won't be able to say, I did this. You will say, only God could have done this. So hear this today. God is not waiting for perfect circumstances to bless you. He is waiting for a surrendered heart. He is waiting for you to lean into His voice even when you don't fully understand. He is waiting for you to declare, Lord, I believe your season is better than my struggle. And when you respond to Him, something begins to shift. Not because your situation has changed yet, but because your spirit is changed. Faith rises, hope awakens, expectation stirs. And the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness begins to shine into the darkest corners of your life. My friend, the season God is declaring over you is not a season of scarcity. It is a season of divine supply. It is a season where the God who multiplied the widow's oil, the God who fed 5,000 with 5 loaves, the God who brought manna in the wilderness becomes the God who steps into your situation. And when he steps in, everything changes. But let me ask you again, are you ready to walk into this season? Are you ready to trust him beyond what you see? Are you ready to release the fear, the doubt, the hesitation? Because today God is calling you forward, and the only thing he asks in return is your faith, your willingness, your surrender. So as we continue in this message, open your heart, lean in, expect God to speak, expect God to move, expect God to reveal the season he has prepared for you. Because what he begins, he completes, and what he promises, he performs. This is your moment. This is your season. God is declaring it over you now. My dear friend, as we move forward from what God has begun stirring in your heart, I want you to pause for a moment and let a holy curiosity rise within you, because the season God is calling you into is not only new, it is supernatural. There are moments when heaven interrupts the natural order of things, when God provides in ways that have no earthly explanation, and when the resources that seemed impossible yesterday suddenly become reality today. This is the mystery, the beauty, and the certainty of what I call the miracle money principle. Not a superstition, not a formula, but the unmistakable truth that when God decides to provide, nothing can stand in his way. And before we go deeper, I invite you right now to type 999 in the comments as a symbol of divine completion, divine intervention, and divine breakthrough. And share this message with 3 people you love, because someone you know is standing one breath away from their own miracle season. And God may use you to be the messenger who delivers it. When we talk about miracle provision, we're talking about a God who has never needed natural resources to release supernatural blessings. Look at Elijah. There was a drought in the land. People were starving. Resources were drying up everywhere. Yet God sent Elijah to a brook and commanded ravens, unclean birds, unlikely carriers to bring bread and meat twice a day. God could have chosen a wealthy man, a king, a generous stranger. But instead, he chose ravens to make one thing absolutely clear. I, the Lord, am your provider. And maybe that's where your curiosity awakens. Why does God use unexpected channels? Why does he provide through means we could never imagine? Because if he only used predictable paths, you would trust the path more than the God who makes the way. There was a young woman I once met who struggled financially for years. She worked 2 jobs, saved every penny, and yet somehow the numbers never added up. One night she prayed, Lord, show me that you are my provider, not my employer, not my circumstances, not my strategies. 2 days later, an unexpected refund check arrived, money she didn't even know was owed to her. Then opportunities began opening, one after another, and every time she tried to give credit to chance, something inside reminded her, this is God. This is the one who sees you. My friend, that is the miracle money principle. God provides through channels that reveal his glory, not your ability. What about you? Have you limited God to what you can see? Have you tied your belief to your bank account, your employer, your paycheck? Have you quietly believed that a financial breakthrough is for others but not for you? Let me speak directly to your heart. Your provision does not begin on earth, it begins in heaven. Before you see it in your hands, God has already prepared it in his plan. And when the season shifts, resources shift with it. Remember the moment Jesus told Peter to go fishing? And he said the first fish Peter caught would have a coin in its mouth. That's miracle provision, not a treasure chest, not a wealthy man handing over gold. A single fish, guided by the Creator, carrying exactly what was needed. That's how God works, precise, intentional, timed perfectly. So let me ask you, what will you trust today, the uncertainty of your circumstances or the certainty of God's promise? When God leads you into a season of miracle money, he is not simply trying to increase your bank account. He is increasing your faith. your dependence on Him, and your understanding of how heaven operates. If God opened every door easily, you might forget who opened them. But when He provides through unexpected means just enough, just in time, you cannot help but lift your eyes and say, Lord, I know this was you. And here's the truth. Miracle provision is always connected to obedience, not performance, not perfection. Obedience. The widow in the story of Elisha was drowning in debt. Her sons were at risk of being taken. She had nothing left but a small jar of oil, but she obeyed. She poured. She trusted. And that little jar became an oil river that paid her debts and secured her future. That same God stands with you now. He knows your debts. He knows your fears. He knows the pressure you've been carrying alone. He knows the nights you cried quietly so no one would hear. And He is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. He is aligning the right people, the right opportunities, the right blessings. You may not see them yet, but in heaven's timeline, they are already en route. But here is the question that shapes everything. Will you open your heart to believe that God can provide for you in ways that defy logic? Will you trust Him enough to say, Lord, I'm ready for what you want to give, however you choose to give it? My friend, miracle money is not about the money, it's about the miracle. It's about the God who proves that He is your source. It's about the Father who knows how to take care of His children. It's about stepping into a relationship where you rely on His promise more than your paycheck. And as we continue this journey together, prepare your heart, because once you understand how God provides, you will never fear lack again. My dear friend, as we continue this journey, I want to invite you into a deeper moment of reflection, because before every blessing God releases, there is almost always a testing. Not to break you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. The blessings of God carry weight, and He strengthens your shoulders before He sets the miracle upon them. So right now, before we go any further, I invite you to write these words in the comments. The Lord is my strength. Let that be your declaration as we step into a powerful truth. God often tests before He blesses. This is where curiosity grows inside your spirit. You begin to wonder, why does God test? Why does He allow difficult seasons, tight places, and moments when prayers seem unanswered? My friend, God is not testing your worth. He is testing your readiness. He is shaping your character, building your endurance, purifying your motives, and drawing your heart closer to His. Think of Abraham. God had already promised him a son, already declared blessing over his household, and already spoken abundance over his future. But before the fullness of that blessing came, God tested him not to take something away, but to reveal what Abraham valued most. And on that mountain, when Abraham lifted the knife in obedience, God stopped him not because He wanted Isaac, but because He wanted Abraham's heart. The blessing that followed was greater than anything he had imagined. That is what the test does. It reveals what you treasure, and it prepares you to carry more. You may be walking through a test right now. A financial test, a patience test, a faith test, a trust test. Maybe everything around you feels uncertain, and you've been asking God, where are you? But what if the very pressure you feel is the signal that your season is changing? What if the tightness, the stretching, and the discomfort are evidence that God is enlarging your capacity for the blessing He's about to release? I once spoke with a man who had been praying for a financial breakthrough for years. He worked hard, saved, did everything right, but nothing